Medical units stand by. 30 seconds to contact. 20 seconds. 15. 10. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1.
We got him. Let's go.
Good morning, Australia. Welcome to all you art aficionados and comic book connoisseur to another episode of, what's this show again? Proof of Comics, number 77. We've got a great guest tonight, returning guest, Josh Adams. You've been on before, right, Josh?
I don't think I've been with you. I've been on so many streams that I start running, but I can't. I don't believe I've been on yours.
Okay.
Yeah, you were here because that's the night I ordered your stuff.
Okay, yeah. It just runs. It all runs together after a while.
Because I know I've seen, because I'm also the co-host on the Commandos, so we saw each other there.
Okay, well. Yeah. That's why it runs together. Yeah, but I appreciate you having me on, especially so last minute and kind of short notice.
Dude, it worked out perfectly. Like I was telling people that our musician for the trailer for Ratel, which I'm going to play in a second because this is our closing out week. Our musician, Anonymal, he was supposed to be on tonight, but he can't make it. We're going to reschedule next week, and we're going to have him on, and then we're going to dive into his Bitcoin journey and what it's like to make music for, Bitcoin themes and all that. But tonight we're getting into more of Godful Universe. Right after I got to play my trailer first because this is the closing week for Ratel. We got 4 days left. We're going to be closing out Friday on Katie Did's channel, as well as Saturday, the very last show. We're going to close out on Comicsgate Commandos, where I'm a co-host, which is the same show that we opened on 3 months ago. Can you believe it? Insane stuff. All right, let's close out. Let's run the trailer, and then we can get on the interview with our guest here. Here we go.
Thank you all so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I especially appreciate Frederic Guimont. I'm just going to call him out tonight because, I don't know, I want to make everybody else jealous, and also he's got a great name. Thanks for coming on, everybody.
Frederic Guimont. Okay, that is actually a really cool scene. I really like that. That's cool. Damn. That looks really cool, Frederic.
Frederic, what are you working on right now, man?
Dope.
Yeah, so 4 more days before we close out, folks. Back your copy today if you want the first print. It's going to be a low count first printing, so under 300 copies. So make sure you grab your copy before we close out on Saturday. And that's it for me. Thank you for your patience. We got some people in the chat coming in here. We got Rosario. How you doing, man? Scribe Comics, welcome. Nice to see you here, sir. Godful Universe, what's subscribed? That's you, right, in the chat, Josh?
Yeah, that's me.
Cool. What's subscribed?
Double dipping.
You got it,
that
man.
was an accident.
You gotta.
It's awesome that you're here today. We were just talking about you last night for a little bit.
I thought I felt something. A disturbance in the force.
I
This
said
guy's
yesterday.
so ugly. How does anybody like him?
I had said yesterday that you were on here before, and I ordered everything. You said it should be there in a week. I'm like, we'll see, because I just ordered it, and it showed up within a week, nice and quick. And
Bro, we try, man. I can't stand to have somebody like waiting for a book. You know, the campaign for Kolga 2, we just started yesterday, and we're running it through January. But like as soon as we get the money released from the campaign and get it to the printers, we immediately out. Like it should be, that book should be in your hands in by March if you sign up for this current campaign.
I got the whole catch-up campaign when you were running that, and so I got like everything from beginning up till current. And I'm sorry to say, I still got to go through it. It's at the top of my TBR list. I've just been working on stuff, so I haven't read a whole bunch of other stuff lately. But everything you were saying was ticking all the boxes for me. You mentioned it's a mix of sci-fi and mystical, and that's like right up my alley.
Heck yeah, man. Ours too.
Do you have like any funky mystical stuff with numbers? Like, are you into like numerology and stuff like that with your story and your writing? Is that up your alley?
So I wouldn't say that. I do think that stuff is really interesting. I wouldn't say that necessarily shows up in the world of the Godfrey universe as a significant thing. At least it hasn't so far. I'll say that like what passes for magic in our world is really more of it's more the idea of technology that's so advanced but so ancient that it just seems like magic to the people by this point. They understand it as magic, but it does actually have a scientific like explanation that's just beyond them. So, you know, I don't know. That would be interesting to explore, actually. Like, that's not a question I've been asked yet. I could see that fitting interestingly with what we do, because we lean into a lot of spiritual things, a lot of psychological things, Gnosticism. There's a lot of interesting stuff that we tackle. So that could be something, a layer to fit in there at some point. Actually, could be really cool.
I was asking because this is episode 77 and we're at 222 subscribers right now. So I'm like, whoa, okay. If this was a lottery machine, we'd be cashing out right now.
That means this is going to be the best episode ever, right?
It's something, and the stars are aligning, man. It's something.
Got 7 sevens is the Hebrew number of perfection. So here we are. We're complete.
That sounds good. Sounds good to my ears. And so, Josh, you're the artist on this book, correct? You're working with your partner who's doing most of the writing. Are you collaborating? I'll let you
we have a pretty interesting dynamic that I think is fairly rare. Because so many people these days, you know, the writer comes up with a concept, writes their script, and tries to have it be as clear as they can make it, and then they pass it off to an artist or a series of artists to get the work done, and then it comes back, and that's kind of what they have whatever that artist made. Dan and I, for one thing, he's my best friend, so we've been friends for over a decade, and most of the past 10 years we've spent building this world together. So all of the lore, all of the story, everything that is this world we build together. But then when it comes down to creating stuff, he writes the script, he sends the script to me, and then I do the art. And he sends me a really kind of a threadbare script. The scripting is minutes, dialogue, and a basic idea of what needs to happen in this section. But then he frees me up to just do, like, I may add 10 pages.
Oh, nice.
Like, we have a very back and forth, and as I finish a page, it goes to him. He's like, okay, I like this. Can we do a little bit of this to make it fit with what we're thinking? We constantly are going back and forth, but he may have, so he's gotten to where now he'll just write fight scene for however many pages. Then I just
It's like, Josh has got this. I trust the guy. Let's go.
That's the cool thing, is that I trust him with the writing. He trusts me with the art. And there are times when I may look at a page and say, "Hey, dude, this needs a little bit more," and I need you. And I'll tell him, like, I need you to write some dialogue for this because I think it needs a little bit more. Or there may be times when he looks at the art and say, "Hey, can we try this page again?" But ultimately, he gets the final veto on the writing. I get the final veto on the art.
But that's cool.
We just have a really cool synergy, man. It's been one of the most rewarding things in my life has been working with him on Godfoe.
Oh, dude, it's so admirable to see two best friends working on a project like this. It's something very rare nowadays. Like, most of the people out there doing comics, even indie comics, it's a business, right? The writers hiring artists, or you got artists doing their own thing on their side, which is kind of what I'm doing here. To see like two best friends hanging out and putting their dreams together. Like, I mean, you must feel like you were as kids, right? Because I remember making up stories with my friends and stuff.
Yeah, it's the cool. Like, I don't take it for granted. I know that it's a very rare thing that we have, and I'm super excited to have this working relationship, and it just has gotten better and better. We trust each other more and more with each book that we complete on time and get out to people, and it lives up to the vision we had for it, and it tops what we put out before. Every time that happens, we trust each other more, and we have more confidence in the story and where it's headed. And initially it was like, we don't know if we can do this, but we're going to try. Now we know, like, we can pull this off. We're going to be able to do something that will outlive us, and we're super excited about it. Do his drone have a face?
To his, I think he means Luttrell character. Yeah, I can answer your question later on, Joan. We're right now, we're right to the Godfoe universe, but I'll keep your question aside and answer it a little bit later. Because Godfoe universe is like, you've got a big, wide, like, universe that you put together.
It's fairly expansive, and we don't use the word universe lightly. Our timeline spans thousands of years. We have 3 defined eras. The first is Apollyon 20XX. That is sort of set very close in our near future. It leans more into the cyberpunk Akira type of aesthetic and storytelling. It's about how our world ends and the Godfoe universe begins. So by the time we get to the era that we call the Biophile Initiative, which is where Biophile Kolga is set, that's thousands of years later. The Earth has been through multiple apocalyptic events by that point. And what exists in that world as God and is recognized as God is something that is actually a construct. It's not really God. And anyone in our universe who realizes this thing that everyone worships, that everyone bows down to, it's not God, because there was something that existed before this did. And if you stand against it, you're labeled a Godfoe, and we kind of follow that trajectory throughout the entirety of our timeline. And then at the very end of our timeline is what we call the Black Star, which is a series of novels, the first of which will be coming out probably first quarter of next year. It's a fully finished, full-length novel. And, we got video games and other things coming out as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've worked on this for a long time, and we're excited to be at the place where we can finally start, lifting the veil a little bit on some of these mysteries that we've started, and giving people kind of a peek behind the curtain. of our world. And that's one of the cool things about the current campaign, which is Volume 2 of Kolga. Everyone who orders Volume 2 of Kolga, physical or digital, you're all going to receive a digital. Essentially, it's basically a novel-length book called the Codex, and it's a writing by the character Kolga. She's written this book throughout her career as during the time when she was known as Kolga the Collector, and it is going to be the first of many of these codexes that gives you a full peek behind the curtain of our world and how it works, how the magic systems work, and if you love lore, you're getting that for free. You're getting a full-length book for free that's just lore about our world. And we're excited to finally be able to do things like that. Just do cool stuff for people.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
So are you going to put out the book physically as well, or is it just like a digital?
So our plan right now, it's a digital. The Codex is going to be a digital thing. Once we've got all of the different volumes done, we probably will try to put together a really cool hardback that contains the whole Codex, all the different volumes of it in one. But that's a few years away before that would be something that ends at the same time probably that Kolga as a series ends, is probably when we'd start looking at putting out a physical collection of the Codex.
Right, that stuff takes time.
Yeah, but the novel, the Black Star, the first Black Star novel, that will be a physical book.
Physical is always good.
Yeah,
I often buy both the physical and the digital. I keep the physical on the shelf for preservation, and I use the digital so I don't have to wear glasses when I read.
Fair enough.
But hey, you mentioned this universe, this continuity has been through multiple apocalypses through its past.
Yeah.
How does that affect the average people that live in this world? Are they almost, oh ho hum, another one of these? I hate it when this happens.
Because there's so much time between, like you're looking at 1,000-year period. We're telling the story in the span of millennia
for them then.
Yeah, and the people in the world may not even have only the vaguest sense of what the world was like before, right? They just know there are these powerful things. There are things that are bigger and stronger than they are, and they don't know where all this stuff comes from. They just know that they have to interact with it. And, what makes Kolga an interesting character is that while she doesn't have the full view, she has a much wider view of the real truth behind the world than most people do. And, for people who haven't read Volume 1 begins with Kolga at what she thought was going to be the end of her life. She was an old woman at the beginning, and she was going on what she thought was going to be her final suicide mission. And instead of dying as an old woman, she's given a brand new, young, youthful body that has abilities that she doesn't even understand fully. She may even be potentially immortal. And so now that she has a new life that she didn't even want, she's trying to just tear down all these power structures. And what she starts to realize.
I'm just going to answer Black Angus real quick. He's asking about the stream layout. So YouTube is now doing vertical streams for phones as well as widescreen for laptops. So you probably got into the vertical stream. So if you click on the channel, and you'll find the other version, which is wider, that's going to fit better for your screen. Normally, I think YouTube suggests the right one. Wrangler's answering there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Josh. I just wanted to...
No, that's cool.
Yeah, answer that question there.
Shadiversity's novel. What is this?
I'm not making the link between Godfoe and Shadow of the Conqueror. Shadow of the Conqueror's main thing was the main character. Throughout his whole life, he had been just an absolute horrific tyrant. And he's looking for redemption, trying to be a better person. He finds a new lease on life. a new identity
gotcha.
and tries to become a good guy and a hero, but still has a lot of those same tendencies. He like flies off the handle, overreacts. And,
Well,
and
I'll tell you right
stuff.
now, Kolga is not interested in being a better person. No part of Kolga is interested in being a better person. She's a very, in a lot of ways, she's a very angry, bitter person. She's an aged out heretic, and she spent her whole life pretty much as a part of this Biophile initiative, who are standing against God, standing against the priesthood, standing against all these powers that they know have the ability to manipulate people and manipulate your thoughts, manipulate the world around you. And she's been a part of that movement, and she ends up being the only one that's left. She's the only biophile that she's aware of that's still alive on this earth. And she's lonely, she's bitter. She has this young woman named June who is her ward, and her relationship with that kid is very flawed. I think she tries to do well by the girl, but at the same time, there's a lot of selfishness involved in the way she treats that kid. And she's just angry. And what she's starting to realize is that when you do take down a powerful structure, what you're left with is not freedom. What you're left with is instability. And it creates a vacuum where other things step up. And, she realizes that as much as maybe I hate these things, they did at least keep order. Like there was still order. And now the world starts unraveling in a lot of ways. And, that's a big part of her journey. It's everything in the Biophile era, and really in the whole Godfrey universe. It always comes down to power, and who has power, who can use that power, and everyone thinks they use it in the right way, but what's right to you may be wrong to someone else. And it's a complex moral story, I think, and it's been crazy fun to draw.
And so this is the second issue in Biophile. Do you have other comics in the series that are already out, or is this the second
Okay,
comic?
so all right, so we don't do individual issues. We don't do floppies, or at least we haven't yet. We follow more of a manga approach where we release a full volume.
Right.
So we've released 2 volumes of Apollyon 20XX, which is our series that's set at the beginning of our timeline. In between those 2 volumes of Apollyon, we released the first volume of Kolga. So like Kolga, the first volume of Kolga is 100 pages. Second volume of Kolga is also going to be 100 pages. So it's a full story arc. Yeah, and Apollyon, the first volume of Apollyon, I think, was almost 200 pages, like 180 something pages. So we release larger books, and we release them. We usually release one of each book a year. So there's usually a Kolga and an Apollyon every year, and then we'll also have
This is black and white or full color?
Kolga's full color.
Wow.
Apollion's black and white. Kolga's
You're a
full
machine, man. Making hundreds of pages like that a year. That's
I'm holding the Apollyon in my hand right now. This is when he says graphic novel,
boy.
He's not kidding. This is good and thick.
It's a thick one.
So I got 2 of them. One's fairly thick and one is very thick. And then another Apollyon, which is a very thin floppy. I think this is like just extra or something.
Yeah, that was an ash can. Yeah, we threw everybody who orders anything physical ends up getting. We throw in the ash can. It's like a 6-page ash can we did that just sort of just gives an introduction to the world of Apollyon. It's a cool thing to have, and we throw it in for free for people.
I'm also holding this smaller shaped Biophile number 1. Say Kolga on the front here.
Yeah, Biophile Kolga is more of a digest size.
That's what I was going to say. They remind me of the Archie's Digest I used to see on the racks in the grocery store when I was younger.
Yeah, they're digest size, which is kind of more in line with how the size that manga typically releases in. It saves cost for us to release it that size, and then it also means we get to keep costs low for our buyers as well. So that, it was not just a matter of, us trying to save money, but it keeps the cost down for the people who are buying our books, which we always try to do. We don't like to gouge anybody. We're not grifters, so we try to do as much as we can for our fans as possible.
And there's nothing wrong with earning, a living.
Of course not. Of course
making
not.
a comic as well. And so you're campaigning both on FundMyComic and Kickstarter at the same time with this campaign?
Yes. Yeah, we're doing both. We typically, we've always done Indiegogo as well, but like their new format that they've started, Indiegogo is insufferable now. And we messed with it for like about a week trying to get it straight, and it did not work up. So we just said, no, we're not even going to bother with Indiegogo anymore. It sucks now. So we're doing FundMyComic and Kickstarter.
Yeah, Indiegogo just pulled the rug out from under everybody. We had a guest a couple of weeks ago who came on, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love Gnarly Comics.
Yeah,
Michael.
That's right, man.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Great dude. And he was done with his 1 month campaign. He wanted to extend it, but they forced him into a 2-week freeze out.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It does. There used to be a very user-friendly interface that was creator focused. They are not anymore. They really aren't. They don't do the creators any favors anymore. And I just, when the option is that or FundMyComic that goes, FundMyComic, those guys bend over backwards to help you. Like it just incredible service, incredible, like just willingness to work with you. I don't know. I have no reason to use Indiegogo ever again.
I hear you. And Luke Stone, man, he not only does he help people out, he'll stand up for you as well if you're being canceled.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, for sure. And so once these books are printed, do you also kind of go to conventions? Do you have other avenues of distributing beyond crowdfunding, or is this the only kind of avenue that you've got?
Oh yeah, we really love doing cons and signings, local shop signings and conventions. The way we set up at cons, we have our table, we'll have our books out, and then we also usually have a bunch of screens set up that have our short films and trailers for our work going at all times. And then we'll also have a couple of screens set up with controllers so that people can play the demo of the game when they come to our tables as well.
Oh, you've already got a demo out.
Yeah. We have playable demo, and usually we got people that'll come back and play through a few levels. Like they'll spend 30 minutes just playing the game, and almost like 90% of the time they'll buy one of everything. And so we try to let it to stand out a little bit by saying, hey, there's the game, there's short films, there's this and there's that. And so we love doing cons. We've been very fortunate when we are at a signing or at a con that like we've managed to make a splash. And now that every time we are able to have more books on the table and people see this is a large world, there's a lot that you can catch up on, there's a lot to read. Usually people will come in and most of the time they buy one of everything, and that's really cool.
You find
what kind of game are you doing?
So the game, it feels a lot like a Metroidvania, type game.
All right, you got Wrangler in your pocket now.
It's a top down type game. It's a sort of a bullet hell, and the main mechanic of it, because the game is a prequel to Biophile Kolga, and she's in this manor that's got 12 different dungeons. We've got 9 of the 12 dungeons are finished, but the chief mechanic of the game is that she has this object in a lamp. It's a living eyeball that's a character in our book. His name is Stu, and you use Stu. So anytime you hit the button for Stu, it changes the map.
Oh,
and it changes where the enemies are. It changes where everything's at. So you have to use him to get around the map, and then at the same time you use him to shoot fireballs. So it's one of those games where if you die, it's because you messed up. like it's your fault if you die, but
Yes.
it's challenging, but not to the point that you like throw the controller away. It's really fun,
I've never
man.
done that.
Dude, it's a fun game. I'm not good at it. I didn't. Dan's the one who's done all the coding work on that. My part will come in once we like beta tested it, worked all the kinks out. Make sure that everything runs like it's supposed to. I'm going to come in, adjust the sprites to make them accurate to the comic, do visual stuff, for it.
Awesome.
Just to give it that spit polish, shine, and then we'll work on deployment. We got to make sure we can get it up on Steam and hopefully up on everything. But we got to finish the game, and then we'll figure out all the deployment stuff for it. But it's really cool, man, and it's fun to have something very tactile for people when they come to our table.
Yeah, you got me doing the
interactive
happy
as
dance
well.
in my box here.
Do you find that people are more inclined to hop on to pick up a book and get into it because you have all these varying media, this multimedia universe? Do you find that's a big selling point?
I think that it is, and I think that it's unique enough that, especially at cons, when you go to a convention, there's kids everywhere. There's all these teenagers and kids, middle school. They don't have endless supplies of money, so they go with a limited amount of money. And you're competing with X-Men, you're competing with Chainsaw Man, you're competing with Spider-Man and Deadpool. So, and what we find is that people that come to our table, they'll look at our books, they'll talk about, man, this art is really cool, or this reminds me of this thing, and this reminds me of the Geyser, or this reminds me of this, and this reminds me of that. We talk with them, and then they'll go out and wander through the whole convention, and then they come back at the end of the day and buy our stuff. And I can't tell you how much it feels, like how good it feels to know that like this kid only has a certain amount of money, and he chose out of all these thousands of things, this kid chose to come back and buy all of our stuff because it's something different, because it's something new, because it hasn't been done to death. So we've really had, and I do think the idea that there's, more than just a 24-page, comic. It's you if you like it, there's always more coming. Like it's like when you find a really good book and you realize, oh, there's 10 books in this series and they're all good. That's exciting. We like to give people rabbit holes.
Yeah, there's a saying among writers that you sell your first book when your third book comes out, right?
Yeah,
People are interested in diving into something that has more of them,
Well, they like to know it has legs.
Yeah.
And especially this, this is something that comes up with indie comics. And it's one of the issues I have with a lot of the indie comics is that you get that first issue, people buy it, they wait a year and a half, 2 years before they finally get it. And then when they get it and they read it and they do actually think it's awesome, that they like it, they may not ever get a second issue. Or it might be 3 years before they get a second issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is part of the reason why we just decided out the gate, look, we're going to drop fat books so that people have a whole story and then the promise that they're going to get another story that builds on this a year from now.
Yeah, it also shows commitment. The fact that you went that far before you even asked a penny means it shows you mean business.
Well, it's also, and we've gotten some flack for this. We've managed somehow to piss some people off, and I care, but I don't care. I'm not aggressively trying. I don't want to upset anybody. Like I'm not intentionally trying to upset anybody or judge anybody, but like I'm going to say what our process is and what our sense of integrity for us feels like. And for us, I'm not going to ask you for your money until the book is done. I feel like for me, I want to finish the book before I ask people to pay for it so that they know that they're not going to be waiting another year for this book that they backed and maybe wonder, am I ever going to get it? Or are they going to come back a year from now and say, oh, I couldn't finish it and here's your money back? we try to be upfront, and we've consistently released, at this point, we've released 3 books on time, got them delivered quickly, and they were all done before the campaign was over and money was collected.
So Kolga 2 is all drawn. It's completed at this stage, I gather, if you're campaigning right now. Is that the...
I've got finishing touch stuff. We got some lettering stuff. We got editing to do, which, again, we're running this campaign for 2 months, so we got editing to do.
Right.
But the book is, for all intents and purposes, the book is done. We just got to finish polishing it. And when we get to the end of this campaign, that book is going to immediately after this campaign ends, like the day it ends, that book will go to the printer, and I'll start setting it up. And as soon as the money comes in for us to be able to pay that printer, it's going into production. And as soon as it lands on our front porch, it's going to people's houses the next day.
Nice.
I'm just scrolling through your Apollyon Volume 1 right now, and I'm digging the stylized artwork.
Thank you. And I feel like that was my first book, and I'm very proud of it. There's some pages in that book that I love. I feel like everything that I've done since then, I've tried to elevate what I'm doing. So like I'm very proud of Volume 1. I think Volume 2 looks even better. I think Kolga looks even better.
Spoken like a true craftsman.
Yeah, I mean that's how you learn by doing, and there's stuff that I'm picking up on things that I'm getting better at, and I take criticism well. If it's valid, I learn from it.
I know what you mean. Even though I type words rather than draw illustrations, I look through my first book and I'm like, oh, I can do better than that. And my second one, I'm like, that's better, but I can still do better than that. So you do try and keep stepping it up each time you go.
And looking at this piece, I'm thinking of Saboteur. Like, look at the zipatone on this one right here, man. It's the classic stuff. I know. I'm just saying that because I know Saboteur is very, very prone to using that on his art as well. Is that natural zipatone on the original, or do you add that kind of after the fact during the color?
It's digital. It's digital. I do all of my art. I pencil with that on paper, and then all the inking, all the colors I do on Photoshop.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Sheldon asks, when did you decide to make your own comics?
It's as a kid, of course. I grew up a Marvel guy, so I read a ton of. Thank you, Saboteur. I read a lot of comics as a kid, so like I learned to draw initially from Marvel comics, and I would make my own comics as a kid. I always did. But as far as the idea of doing it as a career, it was really about 10 years ago when Dan and I started, because we met in bands. We were both in different bands, and we got to be friends from playing shows around each other. And I started doing some art for him that was just related to the band. He wanted the album to have some kind of a story that tied into it. And the more we started bouncing this stuff back and forth, we realized, wow, there's a lot of story here. And it just kept growing from there until we realized, hey, we've got this whole universe here, and we want to make comics. We want to get this story in people's hands. And, so probably I'd say about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago is when we really truly sat down and started working on it. 4 years ago, previous to this, I had been a elementary teacher. I taught for 17 years. And, I got to the end of that last year of teaching, and I stopped teaching. I said, like, if I'm at the time I was getting close to my 40s and realizing, like, if I'm ever going to do this, I need to do it now. And like now I'm 42, and I'm so glad that I decided, look, I'm betting on myself for once in my life.
Oh, dude, that resonates with me as well. Like, I'm 49 and I'm like, I'm about to hit 50. I got to get this. If I want to make a comic book before this life is over, I got to get going. I got to get started. Jungwon asks, 500 is very low goal. May I ask, how are you funding the project, especially for traditional paper, pencil, and inks?
All right. So for me, for one thing, Dan and I, because it's just he and I. He writes the scripts, I do the art. So we're not paying ourselves. So we're not paying 5 different cover artists. We're not paying a colorist and a letterer and an inker. I'm doing all the art, and I pencil it on paper, and then I do all the inking and color. Everything else is digital. So there's no real cost involved in that creation process. We are also doing Kickstarter. Our goal for Kickstarter is 1,000. So we're going to go into some of the stretch goals. Hopefully, we got some things in the work. Maybe even some. If we can get the sauce correct for it, we might even be able to do some 3D printed figures by the time this campaign ends. I'm working on it hard, but we also have realistic expectations, and I don't go and buy up 1,000 copies of this book. We get enough copies to make our return and pay for the next thing. And we look at it as I still have a job that pays my bills. Dan has a job that pays his bills. We're both married. He has kids. Like this, we do this, and we're building a platform, and we're making sure that we give people a good deal and a good book. These things, once we create them, they're always there. They're going to exist. And we're hoping that as each campaign comes out, what we're seeing is more people buy the whole catch-up tier that we offer.
Yeah.
And so that we're constantly putting back into the project to pay for the next thing. And I hope that answers the question and makes sense. It's a mixture of practical, realistic goals, working really hard to get on as many podcasts and things as possible to explain what we're doing and get people's eyes on it. And, just doing our best to make something that the highest quality we can possibly make it.
Hell yeah.
And, I don't want to release something I'm not proud of.
Oh, 100%. We got our other co-host here in the chat, in the green room. Let me bring him on. James, the sandwich. How you doing, James? Welcome to the show.
Hey ho. Doing well. Just surviving out here as a sandwich, always on the run. Always looking for things to conserve my various components and or replace them when they go bad. It's a hard life as a sandwich.
You got to manage to not stay moldy, not get moldy, my friend.
Yeah. I go through a lot of bread every week.
Now,
one thing I appreciate here is you got this timeline just right there at the very beginning.
Yep, and that's at the beginning of every book, to explain that not just where is this story happening, but also to give you that sense of this is where it fits in the big grand scheme of things. And to speak
is that with you if I post it on the screen here?
No, go for it.
Yep. We're gonna watch the trailer as well. Let me just remove this while we have a look at that timeline. There we go. There it is.
Yeah. So
that's essential, dude. Especially when you have a big universe, you gotta have a way to orient yourself, right?
Yeah, got to keep it straight. So, as of right now, in the Zero era, Apollyon 20XX, that's the thing that we have released already, and that's 2 volumes in. It's probably going to be 5 volumes to tell that whole story. So we're a little less than halfway there on Apollyon 20XX of that story. And then we also, during the Biophile Initiative era, you're getting the Codex, and you're getting Biophile Kolga, which has already begun. And we got volume 2 of Biophile Kolga coming out. And then there at the end, where you see the Black Star era, That's the novels, and the first novel is coming out later this year. And then you also have you see the video game up there as well. And then there's a lot of other titles, which are things that we will slowly, as we finish the main titles, these are some things that will start appearing in between some of these things, especially if I were to pick up another artist that I could trust, that could work within the framework of what we do. We could release some of those other books sooner.
That's great. That's
So
super.
you're going to need someone who can reproduce artwork in the proper character models then.
Yeah,
and style.
exactly. But
your style was very distinct when I was going through. It's like
I will say I don't care if it reproduces my style. I want it to be their style. It just needs to be true to the world.
The tone of the book.
Yeah, the tone. Yeah, that's what I care about. I wouldn't want an artist that could draw just like me. I would want it to be an artist that has their own unique take on things.
And it's pretty. These serve as well as good selling point to keep people like hooked into what's coming down the line, down the pipeline as well. Like this is another way to say you're investing into a universe that's planned out. We're not just
and I'll say this: everything on that timeline, it's not scripted fully, but every single thing on that timeline is outlined all the way to the end of itself. Kolga is fully outlined. Every volume of Kolga of that story is outlined from start to finish. We know everything that's going to happen in this story. We know exactly where that story ends. That's true of every single thing on that timeline. None of that is just a logo. Every single thing on that timeline is a fleshed out, fully mapped out story that we're just waiting for the opportunity to do.
Which is far beyond the extra mile, considering what people a lot of times will do. Like start with a single story and then start building off of that, which is fine. But when you don't have a full-blown roadmap for a project this big from the get-go, you can work yourself into corners real quick and not even know it.
Should we get into the trailer?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, please do.
Let's have a look at it. Nice.
Now, I was thinking when looking through it, there is a bit of a trippy aspect to it. But
volume 2 is definitely trippy.
Yeah, in animation, that really exemplifies the trippiness.
Yeah, it's a trippy book. I do want to answer from the chat. Saboteur asked, "How long does it take per issue?"
Please do, yeah.
That's harder to say, just because again we don't do issues, we do volumes. So each book is but every Kolga is 100 pages. That's our goal, is 100 pages for each book.
Yeah, you must not sleep, dude. The fact that you have a full-time job or a job as well, and you're putting out books that are hundreds of pages. When did you decide to give up sleeping?
I've never been a sleeper. I'm a lifelong insomniac. But no, it's just a matter of I'm dedicated, and if I have to stay up till 2 a.m. to finish what I wanted to get to by the end of that week, I'm going to do it. If I have to come home during my lunch break and eat with one hand and draw with the other hand, I'm going to do it. But with Kolga, I started Kolga right when I finished volume 2 of Apollyon. And Apollyon, if I'm trying to remember when volume 2 came out, my brain is not good with timelines. I would say it takes me probably 4 or 5 months at least to get through all of the inking and getting the book completely laid out, and then then all the coloring and all the lettering and stuff that has to happen. It just depends on the book, honestly. Like Apollyon goes faster because it's black and white. Kolga takes longer because some pages there, if it's a splash page, I may spend 3 days on one splash page. It's almost like a digital painting. And then I may have another day that I get 3 pages done in one day. It just depends on what's happening in that book. Like I do work fast. Like I'm a very fast artist, but it also just depends on my life. Our thing is we try to aim for a Kolga either kind of towards either the end or beginning of the year, and then an Apollyon later in the year. And we right now we go back and forth. So as soon as I finish volume 2 of Kolga and it's off to the printers, I'll be working on Apollyon 3 because Dan's already written it. And that's just how we work. And it's really hard for me to actually answer that question in a clear way, just because it just depends. I just know that I'm gonna hit my. It does, and we have it. My wife and I are in ministry, so we have very busy lives. We have a lot of people in our lives that sometimes they need us more than at other times, and when that's the priority, everything else goes to the background for a little while, and then I work however hard I need to do to catch up. So it's honestly, I'm not trying to be cagey. It's just not an easy question to answer, because it's consistently shifting.
Yeah,
if I have
and variable probably affect it quite a bit.
Yeah, and if
you're not making
a week off. If I have a week off and I have several days that I can sit down and just hammer out pages, I make up a lot of time just because I have a few days to just work on this. It just depends.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say to those viewing on the portrait format, sorry that the whole timeline can't be properly displayed. It's just the way the streaming software works.
Yeah.
It displays great on the landscape, but in the portrait, it's like the left and right third are cut off. You're just looking at the middle.
There you go. And we're gonna.
You can't see the vein.
Let me see if I can bring back the campaign a little bit. Yeah, and from the trailer, the music, I would imagine it's you and Dan doing the music, right? This is your group.
No, that one we have used some of his music. I haven't made music in a long time. We have used some of his music before.
I'm glad to hear that. I was like, this guy's way overachieving. Like at least he's music. We're working on albums that we'll start releasing that are set during these different eras as well. So he's very close. He's probably about 60% done with an EP that'll be set during the Biophile era. It's just a matter of getting the rest of his bandmates together and get it all tracked out. So there will be music as a part of this. The music on that was some royalty free, just music that I pulled. I got you.
It just fit the tone for it really well.
So you guys have got to have thought of making a vinyl at one point with a comic insert.
Oh yeah, we would love to. Yeah, we would love to. There's a lot of things that we want to do. That's just a matter of, we got to be patient and build to the point that that's stuff that we're able to do.
Yeah, because this is a whole universe kind of thing. And looking at that timeline, I'm thinking of Star Wars. I'm thinking when Star Wars put up their plans for the next 10 years and things like that. They've got their shows, they've got their movies, they've got their books and all that.
Well,
was that an inspiration?
That was a big part of it, because we looked at it together, and because we initially, before we put out the volume 1, we already had all this stuff written, and we looked at each other and said, it would be awesome if we could have all of these eras running concurrently, and it would be like having the Knights of the Old Republic and the original trilogy and the prequels and the High Republic all running at the same time. It's kind of, that was the idea, is that we want all these eras to be able to run and at the same time. And our approach to it has been that every book that we put out, whether it's Kolga or Apollyon or the Black Star novels, you can enjoy those titles in a vacuum by themselves, self-contained story. And you don't have to read one to read and understand the other. But there's connective tissue between them that just grows as each volume comes out. And they are all connected. They are all the same world. There is stuff that happens in Apollyon that has a huge impact on what is happening in Kolga, or at least on understanding the lore behind some of the things happening in Kolga. But you don't have to have that information to enjoy and understand this story on a surface level. But if you want a bigger world, if you want more lore, if you want that stuff, it's there. And we're giving you, like I said, that whole codex is nothing but a huge book that's free. That's nothing but lore about Kolga's world and her understanding of it.
Nice. And how did you come to decide that Kolga was going to be a color version versus the other one that's black and white?
Well, Apollyon, we went black and white because it's a gritty kind of story. It's a more down to earth kind of story in a sense. It's not as fantastical. It does have, characters with powers, but those powers are arrived at in a very real world scientific way that's inside that world. That gritty, dark sort of Akira meets Claremont era X-Men is sort of what we were going for. So we thought black and white just fit the tone of Apollyon really well. Kolga, on the other hand, it's very metaphysical. It's, there's in volume 2 in particular, there's a whole section of this book that happens in a entirely different realm, so to speak, or level of existence. Like, this is a picture of Kolga in that other world, and these are the types of stories that you can't do black and white and do them justice. So my idea was, with Apollyon, I want every page to be as textured and gritty as possible, black and white. But when it comes to Kolga, it's turn that color up to 11. Make it as heavy metal, like just psychedelic, crazy colors as much as possible.
That's what I was going to say, psychedelic, 100%.
Yeah, and with volume 1, I feel like I accomplished that. I think volume 2, we've turned it up even a bigger notch, and it's a pretty wild book. It's got some crazy colors in it and some really wild visuals. And we're showing some of it in the campaign page, but like there's pages that I haven't shown to anybody yet that are some of the wildest things I've ever drawn in my life.
Oh, that's good to hear.
There's some crazy stuff in this book.
I want to go back to Sheldon's question here a while back. He says, what do you do to get better at drawing as you were progressing? Like, so you were talking about that you're making progress. So you just making progress just out of sheer producing the books? Or are you also like actively researching and kind of trying to improve your art in other ways as well?
I'll say this. I know that I mentioned that initially as a kid, I initially learned to draw from comics. But, James O'Barr, who did The Crow, he talked about drawing, and he was saying that if you really want to be a successful artist, he says you can't learn to draw from comics because a comic is already an exaggeration of the human form. So when you try to draw and learn to draw from an exaggeration, and then you exaggerate it even further, you end up with something that is wildly out of proportion, wildly, it's a copy of a copy of a copy. And, I've always taken to heart that if I really want to be a better artist, I need to look at actual physical human beings go back to actual like nude models and just practice the lighting and the anatomy. I have 3 anatomy books that are on my shelf that I draw from all the time to make sure that the muscles fit where they should be, that everything is connected, like the anatomy. I can start there and then exaggerate and stylize, which I do, but the core of it is going back to the just traditional. Look at sculptures and try to and draw from that. Look at actual human bodies and draw from that. And and then on top of that, just pushing myself to break up the composition and not just do box. I really try to push myself into new territory with my composition of the page. And I try to draw stuff that challenges me and makes me uncomfortable, because when I start a page, I want to have that feeling of, can I pull this off? Am I going to actually be able to do this?
I feel you, man. This is exactly how I felt before tackling this page of Jim Lee's Cityscape. I'm like, I am dreading doing all these buildings, but damn, my second issue, I want to show the city. I want to, get out of my comfort zone and start making beautiful cities and all that. So you got to do some practice. You got to challenge yourself and
and that's what it's about.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And so you're almost done with this book. You've got the pre-press stuff. You got finalized things with colors and lettering. And all that. Yeah. Do you have another book that's on the horizon after this one?
As soon as I finish this book, I start volume 3 of Apollyon.
Oh, and is that already kind of in your head? Are you already kind of?
Oh, it's all the script is done, and like my ideas for what a lot of it's going to look like is already there. I've done some preliminary just concept art, because Apollyon volume 3 is when we're really going to start getting apocalyptic. Our world is going to start getting revelation-y. I know that's not a real word, but like it's going to start getting kind of biblical into the world stuff happening in volume 3, like just the beginnings of unleashing powers that they can't even understand and have no way to control. That's going to start happening. So the scale of Apollyon volume 3 is terrifying to me in the best possible way. But it's hard for me to think about something else when I'm in Kolga mode. When I'm in Kolga mode, I live and breathe Kolga. When I start Apollyon, it's the center of my focus. We also have a friend of ours who bought the books at a horror convention of all places. Dan had gone to a horror con, and they met a guy named Brody, who's just a smart kid. He's in his early 20s, young guy, smart guy. Immediately picked up on these themes and the deeper esoteric stuff that was going on in Apollyon and loved it. He like bought it, went to the food court, read the whole thing, came back and talked to Dan for like an hour about it. And now we've got him. He's written some in-world stuff that is available in our peripheral stuff. And then he's also scripting out a spinoff of Apollyon that follows the character of the Blitz Beast, that he's working on scripts for that right now. And, eventually I'll get around to drawing that as well. What we've always wanted is to create these sandboxes in these different eras, and then have it, as long as people understand and follow the criteria that we have set out, we want to canonize people's fan fiction. We want people to play in this world. Like, we want people to write short stories, make short films, write scripts or create characters. And as long as it doesn't break the rules of our world, as long as it fits within the criteria of what we understand about it, we'll make that stuff canon. And you may create something that we reference in our books. Like, we want people to be a part of this world.
That's awesome.
And
we're finally seeing that happen with guys like
Brody. It sounds like you've turned a super fan into a collaborator with him.
Yeah, and that's really what we want. It's a cool thing. It's not something that we want to, gatekeep and have it. Like, we want people to be a part of it. We want people to enjoy it because, like, there's something really cool about having people connect with your story, connect with your characters, and they create because of it. That's the coolest thing ever. Is to inspire somebody to create something on their own that fits within your world. It's just something we'd love. We want to create a cool place for people to come and imagine things.
Sounds like you're off to a good start, man.
Yeah, we're trying, dude. We're trying.
With the video game, you've got a book coming out. You got 2 different comic series working in parallel. Even like miniatures, 3D printed miniatures on the horizon, possibly. Are you thinking in terms of tabletop game as well? Because that seems like a logical next step as well.
That's something that we have talked about. We've talked about trying to create something that is somewhere between a tabletop game and a card game. Something somewhere in the middle between Warhammer and Magic the Gathering, something kind of in that middle space. And we have friends that are very good have a deep understanding for game mechanics for those types of games. The biggest issue right now with those things is that Dan and I we're 2 men and we have busy lives, and ultimately those are things that we'd love to do, but we can't take our eye off the ball that we're working with right now. We're hyper focused on the things we are doing right now, so that if those things succeed and we make them the best we can make them and we're proud of them, then later on there will always be the chance to come back and do these other things. I would love to do that. I would love to have somebody who takes it upon themselves to do that, and we'll bring them in on it. Like eventually this stuff, either Dan and I will do this until the day we die on just the 2 of us, or eventually we'll have a larger team. But it's right now it's about proving ourselves. It's about introducing people to this world. It's about being consistent, and it's about us treating our fans well.
Yeah, it sounds like you're laying the foundation for something that's going to last. It takes
patience. It takes a lot of discipline, and it takes patience.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, I definitely need to get caught up on all this, because when I play the game, I want to understand all the little Easter eggs and lore that I'm pretty sure is going to be in there.
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff. So Sheldon Martin asked, you mentioned taking criticism well. What's criticism that helped you the most? I would say that, there's been people who have, remarked on things in the artwork about maybe an inconsistency, like this person doesn't really look the same from page to page. And that a lot of that is early in volume 1, because I was learning the characters myself at that point, but it was a fair criticism. Like I get where they're coming from. That, the faces don't 100% look like the same character throughout, and it needs to be more consistent. So, I took that criticism to heart. That was fair. It doesn't feel good, but it was fair. There's sometimes there's criticism of, maybe the composition of where you place the word bubbles don't flow maybe as well as they could have. So this time around, I've really tried to take into account that where I place it flows better and more naturally than that maybe it couldn't. Like I'm learning as I go. So some of those things are valid, fair criticisms. Then on the other hand, you got somebody that comes up and they're just wanting to be a dick, and they're, this art looks like crap. Like, no, it doesn't. I know it doesn't. I know that none of this art looks like crap. That's just a person being a turd, and I'm not taking that to heart.
Oh yeah, I've talked to that person in the past as well.
Like I'm not taking that to heart, because for one thing, this is half the time these are people who don't create anything themselves, and they just want to make you mad so that you'll interact with them. And I don't feed trolls. So, to answer that question, if it's a fair criticism of the art, if it's a fair criticism, it may be a matter of personal preference. And I can look at that and say, I understand why this doesn't work for them. It still works for me. So I'll choose to reject that criticism as something that I want to apply. But if it's valid, I want to learn. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to be challenged. I want to grow. And I think you're a fool if you take a honest and genuinely accurate criticism and ignore it. That's just dumb.
Oh, 100%. Like even the best artists out there are not, even the best artists out there are not 100% perfect, right?
No, nobody's perfect.
And there's always something you can improve, you can learn on.
Yeah, everybody has drawn has had a deadline that was pushing them, and they phoned it in and drew a crappy page, or somebody in the background that looked absolutely ridiculous. Like, I mean, everybody has done that. I just love having the freedom and the time to do my best. And for Dan and I, we both said, look, we've volume 1, volume 2 of Apollyon, volume 1 of Kolga, we got those out and we're consistent. Now we're at a place where we got enough material, enough content to be able to say, look, we're going to take our time. And if this book takes longer to make, that's fine. We want it to be the best it can be. We're just not going to start promoting it until it's ready.
So you're really in the camp of quality over speed then, I gather.
Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive, but yeah, if I have to choose between the two, I'd rather give quality than phone it out to AI and end up with a hand on my book that looks like a spider from under the ocean somewhere. Like, I don't want to cut corners, so I'd rather take my time and offer something that's worth reading and looking at.
And you just said something that I found interesting. You say, talking about speed and quality, you say you don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive. Can you develop that a little bit? I find that interesting.
I mean, I work fast. I mean, I do work fast. I think that if you are disciplined and you set yourself a goal and you can work and deliver something on time. It's not easy. It means you got to spend some late nights or early mornings sometime. But if I care about it, I'm going to do it. I think you can deliver on speed and quality. I don't think you should. I'm not trying to be. I don't like being negative. I like being positive. But I don't think that there's any excuse for somebody to do a 24, 36 something page book and have it take them 3 years. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
You're kind of setting my mind on this this sign that was in the office of a motorcycle repair shop. The sign on the wall said, it was a triangle. It said, good, fast, cheap. You can only pick 2.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's fair. And I also understand that Dan and I are in a unique position as creators, that not everybody has the luxury of working in the model that we work. I get that. A lot of people, they have to pay an artist. They're not an artist. They have to find an artist that's willing, and you're at the behest of that artist, however long it takes them to do and what they're capable of doing or what they're willing to be capable of doing. And those are limitations that people can't help. Like, I understand that not everybody has the luxury of being their own artist. I do feel like, and there are times when I do work for hire that are not in any way related to Godfo. And in those cases, my passion about those projects is not the same as my passion about Godfo. I mean, that just is a reality. I'm still going to try to be the best I can be. I'm still going to try to deliver what I say I can deliver. If I promise you I'm going to have it by a certain time, I want to have it by that certain time. I just think that's an integrity thing. But I do believe that it's possible to put out a good book on time. I don't think that that's asking too much of creators to put out a good book on time.
I'd say it's expected.
It
If you
should
really
be.
want to be full blown, it's expected. It should be a inbuilt principle. Now, if you're like just wanting to produce something for yourself, get it out there, prove you can, okay, I guess, take your time. But if you want to be competitive in the market, if you want to be prolific in the market, you have to have quality and continuous releases, because that's been the comic book culture. That is the dominant manga culture overseas that's been taking over here in popularity, is continuous releases.
And see, so that's where Dan and I, when we say that we're following more of a manga approach than a American comic approach, that's what we're talking about. Consistent releases, trade paperback format that has a whole story arc, and people know, hey, the new volume is going to be out next year, or the new volume is going to be out in like 5 months, and we'll get another volume. And there's a reason why those books sell more than American comics on the whole, drastically more. You go to a Barnes and Noble, you'll see one shelf of comics, and then you'll see 4 aisles of manga.
Speaking of manga, we have our resident dweeb, the Lord Otter here.
Hi, I'm your fellow manga lord.
A manga lord.
Manga lord.
It sounds like mongoloid.
I know, right?
Welcome, Otter. How you been?
I am doing utterly fantastic. I've been reading, writing, having a grand old time. How's everybody else doing?
Excellent.
Fantabulous.
We're doing great. We're having like one of the most interesting conversations about making comics in a long time. Josh is very passionate and very dedicated, very professional as well about his craft.
Yeah, I was saying something because we've had a lot of interesting conversations lately, but this one's really popping off.
I appreciate this. Let me respond to this, and let me ask you real quick for a hi, Ruby. Jiyun Wong, can I ask for a clarification real quick? Ashland, did you mean to say Ashcan? Because I want to respond, but I want to make sure I respond to what he's saying.
Sounds fair.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if he's going to respond again, but I'm going to go ahead and respond to what I think he's asking. Yeah, okay, Ashcan. So an Ashcan, typically you're looking at what, 6 to 8 pages? I would say that if you are an artist and you are drawing your own comic, a year to do 6 pages, I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think that if you are an artist, even if you're a learning artist, like our Ashcan that we throw in with everything, that for anybody that buys a physical book, they get the Ashcan. It's 6 pages. It's black and white, but it's 6 pages, full color cover. I did all 6 pages of that book. I did in 1 week. And now I agree. All right, you're saying I estimate a page every 3 weeks. That I can't imagine it taking me 3 weeks to make any page. Even if I drew it and painted it with oil paints on the canvas, I can't imagine it taking me 3 weeks to do 1 page. Now, if you have an enormous amount of work and you just don't have any free time whatsoever, and I'm sorry, I don't think I can agree with you. I can agree to disagree. I definitely don't mean you any insult I don't think that I think it's reasonable to expect that you could do an ash can within a month.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could time can vary depending on the background details.
It can, and I would say that if you're in a position where that's your artistic level, is that you can't. It would take you that long. I maybe drawing comics isn't your thing.
I would,
and that's okay.
I would get a bit harsher than that, and I'd say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's fair, it's not fair. We always hear that term, the world's not fair. You know what? The consumer wants it. And they want it faster, and they want it just as good as the last one they read. And whoever can meet that demand can win them over and could get a lifetime consumer, a generational consumer, an actual fan made out of them. It's harsh, it's mean, it's not fair, but it's what's demanded. People like stuff. They like it immediately, and if they can get it in their hands immediately, and they're like, this is some trippy shit, like what I'm seeing on the screen, and I'm getting this constantly, and I can expect to get it on the exact same date I got it last week, last month, last year. Why wouldn't I keep buying it? Why wouldn't I keep digging into it? Because that's where the investment goes. Now, you can do it other ways if you're trying to meet particular markets, like we spoke of the French market. Having a very appreciative manner towards comic books and graphic novels and the stuff and the such, where they are basically interchangeable with prose literature. Right for the French market, your stuff will be produced once a year, and you may have an audience to grow there. That's great, but if you want to reach the American market, the largest market there is, they like to consume, and they like to consume quickly. You got to meet the market where it's at, regardless what the market looks like. And we are in a very, very starving market, and probably the most decentralized market that's ever been. So you got to strike with the iron's hot. And if you really want to make a living at it, you got to strike, and strike again.
What do you mean by decentralized market, James?
I mean, you can get your comic book from a number of locations now. You can get your comic book from a person's own personal website where they got 1,000 of them in their garage, or you can get your comic book from like a Kickstarter page where every single issue is Kickstarted and things of that nature. Like, there's so much ways to approach it, not just for comic books, but for literature, for movies, for radio shows. I'm working on a radio show in the background. There's so much ways to approach distribution. It's actually crazy. Like, people have probably never been hungrier for this type of media, but it's also never been easier to publish this type of media either.
Yeah, and that's where I think that you've got to have something that stands out. And it's not an easy thing to stand out in a flooded market. But I do think that integrity still goes a long way. I do think that quality goes a long way. And I think consistency goes a long way. And we've also tried very hard to be as interactive with our readers as we can possibly be and as they want to be. We've had readers that like have a ton of questions about the world and the lore, and I will sit there down with you, and I will answer as many questions as they want answered about this world, without like full-blown spoilers of what's coming. But like, I love that there are people that want to have those interactions, and we're small enough that we'll have those interactions with you.
What's the best way to get in touch with you for those types of interactions? Do you guys have a Discord or on Twitter?
We have a Discord. We do have a Discord, and I don't have the link. Dan is our more technical end of things. I don't have that, but if you go to the Godfo Universe, or either Godfo Universe on X, or if you go to Josh Adams 83 at Godfo Universe, that's my Twitter account. Both of us have a link tree that has all of our social media, our Instagram, our Discord, all that stuff is on there. So we do have a Discord. We respond to Twitter messages. We respond to Instagram. Whatever, any of those, whatever you use, we probably use as well. We've had some really cool talks on Discord. We're very open to having conversations with anybody. Like, we love talking about our world. I've been talking about it for an hour and a half tonight. Like, I don't mind talking about it.
We're just scratching the surface as well.
Yeah,
James,
but I just...
Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Sorry. No, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to ask James. James, you mentioned you had a comic you wanted to cover tonight. Do you have the book cam ready, or?
Oh, I do. I do have the book camp ready.
Awesome. Okay, so while you set that up, so if you don't mind, Josh, James has incredible finds that he has sometimes of a lot of indie comics from the past that he kind of digs up, and we kind of look through them and have a discussion.
Oh, cool.
On those.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
So we're going to pull that up, but we're going to keep the conversation going, and I'm going to encourage people to go visit the FundMyComic or Kickstarter, whichever fits better with your preference there. Put the FundMyComic in the link. Both of them are in the description, of course. So make sure you check that out. You can get some back issues as well. You've got the whole universe ahead of you to discover, and 2 series that are working in parallel. Because I've been seeing your work on Twitter and on FundMyComic for the past couple of years as I've been making my own comic book here. And it's fascinating to see progress. I can't wait to see where it's going to go.
I appreciate it, man. I'm pulling up the Discord. I'm about to drop that in the chat.
Oh, wonderful.
This comment has failed to post.
Oh, I'll post it in the private chat and I'll copy it.
All right.
You could go directly in the YouTubes, perhaps. Yeah, because you maybe don't have a you maybe don't have a wrench. Let me fix that. I'll give you a wrench right now. That's probably what happened, because when you want to post a link, you got to have the wrench. And I think...
Oh.
Yeah.
Either way, I also dropped it in the private chat, so either way works.
Perfect. Here. Now, I've given you the wrench, so you'll be able to post stuff in the future. Let me grab that here and share it with everybody.
There it is.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Sweet. So yeah, that's our Discord.
Sweet. So people can join that, dive into the lore, ask questions, and learn more about the universe and immerse. And maybe they'll start writing their own lore, and they'll become a collaborator like your friend who just joined recently.
Heck yeah.
It's good to see the team grow over time like that. All right, let's are you ready to go, James?
I've been ready to go.
Oh, okay. Do you have
I was born ready.
Do you have the
ready?
Is it
It is.
It is. I don't see it. Is it normal? I don't see it in the share. Oh, your share, because you got your own thing going. You're
it's in my house.
Yeah, you got the whole.
Here's the new and improved comic cam. It's been a while. Today I show rare and exotic finds like this pile in front of me. I'll do a quick show. This is one of the Elric comics I have. I have a bundle of these. Showed them off before. I got an old Blazing Combat. This is a replica because this exact issue is actually worth hundreds of dollars. It was banned.
Oh, wow.
Right here, I got one of my classic 1994 provocative illustrations.
You've got to be like close to getting the whole collection now with 1994, right?
Very close, very close. And then one that I showed off last time, which is the Rocketeer, is our 1993 reprint of some old Rocketeer stories. Essentially, a large graphic novel, if you will, with a complete 5 issues completing the story.
Now, Rocketeer, that started with the film, right? That was.
Did it start with the film? I thought
that's a question. I'm not sure because it looks old, but I've always wondered if they had original work in the comics or other media, or did it kickstart with the film? I
It
was
might
not
have
quite
been
sure.
an older one. We'll have to look into that, find the answer for you. But today we're looking at Door Kicker's Bad Medicine by Scott McCollin. I have been waiting for this because usually we get the independent or old comic books that I like hunting down. This is actually the very first comic book I ever crowdfunded, and it took 3 years to get here, but it finally did, and it came with this matte slash it's kind of like a matte. It's like very, very thick, but it's like a matte slash poster, I guess. Use it for a number of things, I suppose. You play cards on it. But this actually showcases everything good and bad with this book. And that is that there's extreme detail in the weapon design. This was written by an actual soldier who served. So the uniform is excellent. The tactics used in this book are excellent. Everything's to point. All the combat's really good, and the action is to die for. With that said, if you look up here, this thing looks bigger than his entire skull. There are proportion issues throughout this book that steal my attention in ways that I don't like. And that's
distracting.
Yeah, we're going to explore, and I'm going to show off some pages. I don't want to show off the entire thing, but as soon as I open it up,
your love is like bad medicine.
Hell yeah. We get the
Hey Patrick, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. We're looking at Godfall Universe's second book in the Biophile Kolga series, and right now we're diving into James's book cam and looking at some indie comics that he's crowdfunded 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it finally showed up. This was kind of fun. I didn't expect this, but I got a signed copy right there, so that's great. We got the same image that we just explored, but black and white here, and right next to it, we got this other image that also has some major proportion issues. It looks really cool with the detail within this almost hard to describe monster, but when you pay closer attention to the various parts of this monster, you realize it was actually a guy. You see a foot down here, you see a bit of a hand right here, and you see somewhat of like a face over here that's hard to kind of explore, but when you get up close and you start seeing it, you're like, oh, that was actually a person. I love that about artwork. When you explore, you see the details. It comes to life. But right next to it, you have this man here kicking all kinds of ass, tearing into it with knives. But proportion issues and perspective issues. This arm looks like he's breaking it. Looks like it's coming right off of him right there. And let me actually see if I have a closer cam, because I believe I set one up right here. Yeah, a little bit closer. You can see it better there. His arm looks like it's breaking right there. It looks like he's just stretching it past capacity, and it just feels awkward. And if we look at this other hand right here, that just looks weird. Again, like he's stretching it backwards and up at the same time, and it's hard to see. See if I can bring this up without distorting the camera. It's hard to see there, right here, but his fingers aren't actually gripping the entirety of the knife. You look over here, the fingers go all around it. Over here, he's almost just cupping the end of the knife. It just feels awkward there. That just doesn't feel right. And there's small things like that throughout the book that steal me away from the better aspects. But with that said, as soon as we turn the page, the better aspects explode at us with one hell of a murder.
Whoa, now that's an opening page.
That's a nice first page, yeah.
And that's the stuff that you need on your first page. But I had to battle what I saw beforehand to get here. But this is what makes you want to keep flipping pages, because the gore is done right. In this area, I probably could find a few small things, but that's not where my attention is clearly going. And when this stuff starts happening, it's done right. So on to the next one.
Hold on, before you go too far, who was the creative team behind this book? Can you tell us real quick?
Yes, I pretty much only know Scott McKenna, who he's actually a gentleman who runs a podcast called Future Combat, where he and a bunch of other war veterans get together and sort of discuss, or Future Conflict, discuss kind of current conflicts around the world. And each of them's also like a writer or a creator, and they all kind of pull from that background and they come together and they talk about some of their stuff. And the other ones I'm not too familiar with. If I was, it's been 3 years since I've really looked into it. Been waiting for this one for a while. Yeah, the big excuse was distribution issues, which often it can be out there. You got to be careful who you get to distribute your stuff. Anything happens to them, it's happening to your work as well. Mm-hmm. So that took 3 years to get to my door. But I enjoyed this a lot. Not so much what came beforehand.
Well, maybe you just have a long driveway, James, you know.
Right? So there's really not much going on. This one that I wanted to show off, I got some small, or was it? Let me see. There was a
faces look good.
Yeah, faces are good.
It's overall, I've seen a lot worse. Like overall, it's not bad.
The faces are good. I think the silhouette here is a little off. Feels a little funky, but
the triangle panels on the left remind me a little bit of Patrick's layouts in his phenomenal books.
Yeah, it's taken took some chances with layout, which I think is interesting. It's not just block, 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 block. It does look it's got a lot of dialogue, which, I mean, sometimes it just takes that. We got pages like that too, but is the whole book that dialogue heavy?
That I also had to worry about because there is a lot of dialogue throughout that continues. Yeah, that's another thing that stole my attention. It's already been like 3 flips and I haven't got another body drop, which kind of, now, that's a get to the heart.
To be fair, like I make that as there's nuance to that, because sometimes there is stuff that just has to be established. There's a lot more dialogue in volume 1 of Apollyon than in volume 2. So I get that you're trying to establish the story, establish the characters. So sometimes it's just a necessary evil, but we have, like, that's one of the lessons we've learned is to try as much as possible to trim some of that back, show, don't tell as much. I mean, there's times when you can't, but as often as possible, it's a comic
but when every page looks like a Gilmore Girls script.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they cool it a bit here, and this is where the action starts taking off, and it does take off pretty good. Exactly, and it has that
that's cool
of supernatural.
Yeah, it's got like a Resident Evil feel.
Exactly. So there's a lot of that throughout the book that I really enjoy.
Real quick, it's cool. It's a good thing they showed you the real horror on page 1.
Yes.
So that getting through the dialogue on pages 2 to 5, 6. Mm-hmm. At least you know you're going to get some good stuff later down the line.
Yes. Now, a warning that I forgot is which page is this one? Very important for anybody who publishes anything. Always get yourself a sampler copy. It's going to cost you the most because it's just one copy being shipped.
The text goes all the way to the center, right?
Yes, the text goes all the way to the center, and it can't read it all. And unfortunately, this happens on a number of pages with the art as well, which nobody wants to see. So, best to avoid that. But overall, I think I enjoy my purchase. I don't even remember how much it cost, but it arrived. The gore looks good. The action sequences look good. The dialogue, from what I read so far, is actually pretty good. Here's another pretty good action sequence.
I do like that the colors that remind me a little bit of the way that Eric Powell always did his, where lots of it would almost be undersaturated, and then you have these blasts of really warm colors that stand out. That contrast is kind of cool. Like, it doesn't work for every book, but I feel like it works for the tone of this book to have more muted colors, and so that all those reds and oranges and stuff can really pop.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. If you're gonna put your book in color, use the color. You can do a lot, and I'm sure you can probably talk for hours on the use of colors in books. But ultimately, like I said, I'm pleased with this one. They're all small issues in between. A lot of dialogue. Here's a lot more dialogue. But I can't wait to finish it because what I have read is pretty good so far, and it keeps the story going. It doesn't pause for too long, and you get to the action. Roughly okay pacing for action, though I do wish it would last just a bit longer. And on top of that, this is actually kind of a fat book. This is not, this is a decent size graphic novel here. This is a graphic novel. You got plenty of pages to read through. So I enjoyed my purchase. I don't know if it's still available for purchase, but not bad. I'll put it on the pile, make sure that it gets read, and if it's good, I'll pick up the third one, because they said they are going to be working on a third one, though I'm not going to hold my breath for too long.
So is this the second one?
This is the second one, Bad Medicine.
Okay.
I heard about it obviously 3 years ago. Their number 2, Bad Medicine.
Right. I see that.
Yeah,
do you have the first one, or did you dive in with the second one? Okay.
I dove in with the second one. And you can actually dive in pretty good without knowing too much about the first one. It kind of feeds you enough information along the way.
And when you say go ahead. No, go ahead, Josh.
Real quick, I know the question was asked earlier about the Rocketeer. It was a comic character first. He came out in 1982. And then in 91 is when Disney made the movie adaptation. So that character was an homage to the old pulp stuff. He was sort of a Doc Samson, that kind of the Shadow. Like, it was a new take on that old style of
because he always felt older than he actually was.
Yeah, and it's even set in that time period as well. So it did start as a comic first, and then it got the movie adaptation, which also I love that movie. I have always loved that movie.
That's
I love
a good
pulp.
movie.
Yeah, I love things like the anything pulpy, the Shadow, the Phantom. I love that kind of stuff. Doc Samson, all that stuff is great.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wanted to look it up, and I figured I'd share it with y'all.
Yeah,
it's got an amazing. This is basically the opening cover here, the interior.
Yeah, some good art.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's good.
Who is this? What artist worked on this?
Let's see.
Is that Betty Page? The woman at the bottom left of that one.
Certainly looks like her. Yeah, certainly looks like her.
And there's a camera set up there. That's definitely. I think that's her, or a nod to her, right?
Yeah, for sure. So Dan Stevens, I wonder if this guy is writer and artist. Heck yeah!
Oh, dude, that's
writer
cool.
and artist. Eclipse. So that's one of the guys doing it literally doing it up old school, doing it his own way. That's really cool.
Didn't we just
that's a passion project.
Didn't we just speak with someone, Frederic, who was really into Eclipse comics?
I thought that was you who's collecting those Eclipse books. It doesn't ring a bell.
No. I believe somebody else said Eclipse was one of their favorites.
Was it Gray from last night's show?
I believe it was. It might have been. I didn't know this was Eclipse. I collect so much that it's hard to consume them all,
Or
but this one is actually one of my favorites because I always love this old school, like industrial World War II aesthetic.
Did you ever watch the movie Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow?
Yes. Very I forgot what the exact term was for that one. Something punk, one of the punks.
Steve,
you get a lot the opening pages, and then we get some comic book going.
Oh, nice circular panel there. Very graphic.
Yeah, that's nice.
I always like when
good
people
work.
Get creative with the panels.
Yeah, good work. Very good work.
But not so creative that you can't find your way around either. A good balance between.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of panels. Look at that.
There's a lot. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Very nice.
This
I
one
remember
was-
I had the comic adaptation of the movie, and I read that thing to pieces as a kid.
Wow.
I used to love those, man. I used to love when a movie would come out and you get the comic book adaptation. Like I had both of the Batman Returns. I had the comic adaptations of those. I remember having the comic book adaptation of David Lynch's Dune. Like,
oh, I didn't know there was one of that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, dude, you need to look it up. It's what's his
tried
name?
hunting it down, couldn't find it.
Schweinswick, however you say his name, that did New Mutants back in the day.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he did the art for it. It was phenomenal. It was better than the movie.
my favorite one of all time, which is better than the movie, is Bram Stoker's Dracula by Mike Mignola.
Ooh, I bet that was dope. I didn't know that existed, but I bet
It
that
looks
was
better than the movie. Well, first
I'm
of all,
sure.
you don't hear like Keanu Reeves acting, which is a real plus. And Winona Ryder is drawn so beautifully. It's so
I would imagine that would be dope. I could see that being awesome.
Yeah.
So you said, I think I heard you saying you're trying to get the full collection of that
1994
series.
Yeah, I
Yes,
actually have. They had they were originally titled 1984. But then they were forced to change their names for obvious reasons.
I got you. Our local shop, Galactic Comics, has a whole long box full of that series. So if you're missing some specific issues,
I
we
might have
be able to
ordered
find
from
them
them
for you.
online. I wouldn't.
It's
doubt it.
possible.
It's possible. I ordered from a lot of different people. If they sell online and they got some decent prices on issues I'm looking for, I'll pick them up. It's been a little while since I collected them. I have every issue of the 1994 series in this drawer that's literally holding up the camera. It's just like that thick of a bunch of these. And I just love the covers. I love the interior art. They're extremely risque. Extremely risque. But
no comics code on the magazines, man. Same thing with what was it? Marvel did Epic. You had obviously Metal Hurlant or Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal. This was a competitor to Heavy Metal.
Yeah, those were all. That was, and I always loved even like the old Savage Sword of Conan and those. I love magazine size comics, man.
Oh yeah, I have the whole Savage Sword. I have the Savage Sword of Conan collection, all in black and white, translated to French hardcover, right behind me.
Nice. I have somewhere in this office. I have the first issue of Tales of the Zombie.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, it was a Marvel book. It's gorgeous. I don't know where it's at in here. If I can find it, I'll show it to you.
So this is what you can expect when you open up one of these.
Oh, dude, that is so European.
Yeah, that art is so great. I love French artwork.
Yeah, this one. Let me see.
Is this from the Philippines? Because
it might be, because there's a lot of artists who worked on this who are Filipino. A lot of artists. I think there's actually there was an unsung Filipino artist movement back in the day, but a lot of them worked on this stuff. Look at that. And the pages are a bit fragile. Some of them you could actually smell the ink. And of course, risque. Yeah, you're getting full push on that page.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful.
Yeah. They mix a lot of crazy science fiction stuff.
Josh, you said you had a full-size adaptation of Hook, the movie.
Ooh.
I've got the Peter Pan collection from Europe, from Loisel. Dude, that is not a bande dessinée for kids. That has hardcore topics and it's Peter Pan.
Yeah.
But, his mother's sending him out like almost to prostitute himself to get her alcohol. It's like, it's
man, those old books were wild. Dude, those magazines were crazy. Like, do y'all remember when Marvel did the Rampaging Hulk magazine?
No.
I don't recall that, no.
All right, so around this same time, Marvel had a Hulk magazine that came out, and it was full color, like painted art. But it was magazine size and it had no comics code authority. I had one issue of it that I picked up like as a kid from a flea market or something. My mom didn't care because she said, "Oh, it's the Hulk, it's whatever." dude, like Bruce Banner gets ganged up and almost raped by gay guys in a bathroom. Like it had all kinds of cursing and all kind. Like it was crazy. Like that was the Wild West of comics back then, man.
Yeah, because Man Magazine went into magazine format to escape the comics book code. So that's probably why they got away with it. If you were a different format, you were immune while you didn't fall under their code.
Yeah, and then the Lord Marvel definitely followed suit with that because they had a Punisher one, they had all the Conan ones, and they also had Conan comics, but then they had the Conan magazines like that were full of nudity and gore and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy out there. I come across a lot of this stuff like, dang, and they say that we are debaucherous right now.
The 70s and the 80s were wild, man.
Yes. Actually, I wanted to share this book that finally came in. I've been showing it off to Frederic in the background, sent him a PDF of it. But Dialogue, The Art of Verbal Action for the Page, Stage, and Screen. I've been reading this. I first got the audiobook because it was suggested to me by a friend who's a screenwriter, because I'm writing a radio show or a radio drama, and it's primarily dialogue based. And this gentleman, Robert McKee, has Robert McKee. Not sure how to pronounce that name right there. That's a difficult one.
Robert Mouse.
Mr. Mouse produced a number of books. This was his second one. And this one has actually been a godsend because it's completely transformed my approach to dialogue. And it digs right in deep and does not waste your time. And I bring up wasting your time because prior to picking up that book, I picked up this one, Radio Drama Handbook. And over 100 pages of this are based off of history, appreciation, before you get to any conclusive and deep theory. And this is like a 200-page book. So
that's cool that you love the radio dramas too. Like that, we got a lot of common shared interest here.
Oh yeah, I'm writing one, and I've worked on I guess what you say, I've done the sound engineering on about 12 hours of amateur radio drama. So now
that's awesome. We've scripted out 3 seasons of Biophile Initiative as a radio drama, and we're trying to decide whether how we're gonna approach it. We want to try to do something unique with it that incorporates visuals and the audio, and we're not 100% sure what that's going to look like yet. But dude, I grew up maybe kind of similar. I don't know. It's on the back burner right now, but I love old time radio, man. Dude, I listen to it on Spotify all the time. I listen to The Shadow or Gunsmoke or any of those that's great stuff, dude.
Exactly. And anybody who is interested in dialogues, pick this one up. I want to share a portion from chapter 5, I believe, where it talks about the types of dialogue. Not the types of dialogue, but how to approach dialogue to make it sound natural. That you have 3 spheres or 3 circles. Your innermost circle is the things your character never says. What your character never says comes from who they truly are as a person, even if they don't know who they truly are as a person. Your secondary circle surrounding that one is what they mean to say when they look at you in the midst of conversation. This is what they mean to say. This is the most direct form of information that they want to shoot to you right away. And then outside of that is what they actually say. And the way to appropriately approach these is each one of them is influenced from the inner circle. What they actually say is influenced from what they mean to say, and what they mean to say comes from what they never say, or is influenced by what they never say. So when you are writing what a character says, you should be showing a window into what they mean to say. and what they mean to say should show a window into who they actually are, allowing your reader to become a mind reader, to understand who this character is before they do. So that's an aspect that this book gave me, and I've been applying that as a principle into my writing of dialogue, and it's been coming out pretty good, I believe. And I'm only about a quarter of the way through, so there's a lot more to pull from it. That's what you get from maybe this much of the book, maybe even less of this. That's something you get in the midst of this. And what I like about this book, because I've read it a quarter of the way through, I stopped, I started over again, and I noticed that everything it covers, it's giving you pieces of and then reinforcing that information as it goes. The book is literally written to teach you through repetition. And I didn't even notice that at first, that the things that it was reinforcing on chapter 5 were being spoken in chapter 1. And then I didn't even notice that. So I know that Robert McKee, who wrote this, because it's not some ancient form of book that we've never found, is writing to get this drilled into you. It's not just a book with basic information you use as a cheat code. It's something that's going to teach you about dialogue. And when I'm done with it, I'm going to dig into a few other of his books, because he's written many of them. And initially, when I looked into him, he's a gentleman that is actually a screenplay writer that gave workshops for like decades on screenplay writing. And when I guess the time came, he decided to publish a book on story that blew up. And then that book led to this book, which led to other books. And each of them has become prolific in their own way. And as soon as you pick it up, as soon as you start reading from page 1, you start to realize why. You start to realize that the dialogue in here and the way that it's presenting it to you is not only consumable, but you get that aura of expert information coming your way. So for anybody who wants to take dialogue seriously, this is the book for you.
Yeah, I'm going to dive into it. Do you know if any of his presentations are available on YouTube and stuff like that?
I don't know. I have not looked. There may be a few.
Yeah, because I had him already on my wish list for Amazon for a long time, and you sparked my interest with this dialogue book. I'm going to definitely dive into it. I'm currently writing my second issue as we speak. So, well, not as we speak. I'm drawing, but you know what I mean.
You're illustrating.
Patrick is saying, I go down to the city and hear inner city youth and transcribe it to write my dialogue. I thought your story was taking place in Russia, Patrick.
It's guerrilla dialogue.
Godfoe says, you're going to get mugged. Patrick, well, I think Patrick's packing. To be fair, I think he's pair enough to defend himself.
He better hope he is.
And if you want to understand comic books, pick up Understanding Comic Books by Scott McCloud.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that is. I always put that one forth because it's teaching you about comic books.
And that's the first printing I think you got there.
It may be.
Judging
the entire
from the cover.
thing is a comic book about comic books, how to look at them, why they are the way they are, how to become much more literate in them, covering every aspect of comic books there are from the very beginning. It's a really great read.
Also recommend Comics and Sequential Art by Will Eisner.
There you go.
Comics give away the Eisner Awards. There's a reason for that. Will Eisner was a complete genius in the space. He's the Alfred Hitchcock of comics, if I say so myself.
Yeah, I'm trying to maneuver this so it appears okay on the vertical cam. There you go. Understanding comics. That'll be good enough, I think.
We're learning that Patrick is also one of the inner city youth.
Okay.
Apparently, he melts in.
He's a youth.
He's the Jane Goodall of the urban youth. Thank you so much, James. That's a real good deep dive into.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I love my comic cam and my books and comics. I collect a lot more than just comics. These guys know, got an entire thing of books right next to it right there.
And if you love these reoccurring segments, do subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
We're at 222 subscribers so far, which is a really nice number. But
That's
we're
dope, man.
always looking to grow as well. Thank you so much.
Lots of
Well,
fun.
can I ask real quick, because I'm getting close to when I'm going to have to pull the plug on my end of this.
Yeah, we're finished with the show as well. We're going to wrap up, but go ahead.
I would love real quick just to go through the tiers so people can know what we're offering with this campaign.
Do you want to pull up the page yourself, or do you want me to pull it up?
If you could pull it up, that'd be easier, because I'm not 100% sure how to do that.
I got it right here. Let me do that right now.
I'm not tech savvy.
That's okay.
Patrick, but like they appreciate me, these gorillas in the mist. All right, so yeah, we got several tiers for people to subscribe in this particular thing. We do have a digital tier and a physical tier. So like if you're not in the country and you want to order and you want to read it, but you know the shipping is insane or anything, you know, we have a digital tier for people. The physical for Kolga is $15, 100 pages for $15, full color. We have a Kolga catch-up tier, which is volume 1 and 2, $30 plus shipping. I think shipping is like it's either $5 or $7.
These are beefy books, right? You're in the hundreds of pages.
Yeah, that's 200 pages of book right there.
That's
that's
cheap.
a book.
For $30.
That's a real book, right?
That's a cheap price for
Yeah. If you do the catch up for Kolga, you're getting like 200 pages for $30.
That's not bad. If I pick it up, we'll do a comic book cam here.
Yeah,
sounds good.
We got the digital of volume 2 for $10. Digital catch up for $15.
Nice.
That's high res PDFs. Poly and catch up bundle digital for $15. That's
that
volume
looks
1,
sick right there.
I appreciate that. That's volume 1, volume 2, and the ash can, which is for the digital bundle for $15. We have a universe catch up digital for $20, which is everything for $20. And that's not even counting everybody who orders a physical copy. We also send you a digital copy.
Oh, that's nice.
Automatically send that for anybody that buys physical. We send you the digital along with a ton of other peripheral stuff that's just free stuff we throw in.
Dude, you rock.
We try, man. We have the universe catch up physical, and I'll be honest, we're getting close to the bottom of our first printing for Apollyon Volume 1. Ooh. So we may not be able to offer this specific deal again.
Get in while you can, folks.
Get it while you can. Because when we do a second printing, we may even do a second cover and have a completely different cover for the second printing. So if you want that original cover, you're going to need to get it while supplies last. For $60 plus shipping, you're getting all of Apollyon, all of Kolga, full physical copies of everything for $60.
Now these are graphic novels.
Yeah, so Apollyon, Volume 1 is 185 pages. Volume 2 is, I think, 100 pages. And then both of those Kolgas are each 100 pages. So that's an enormous amount of
a lot of value.
Yeah, that's an enormous amount of book for $60.
Now, I used to run down to the local freaking mega mall here and go to Barnes & Noble. Each one of those would have cost no less than $25.
Exactly. And we have tried very hard to give people the most bang for their buck. If you like dark sci-fi, if you like some gothic horror and fantasy, I think you'll love these books. If you like a lot of conspiracy theories and body horror and just some wild dark world stuff, dystopian stuff, you'll love Apollyon.
This reminds me of Evil Dead.
It does.
That looks
that's going to be our first stretch goal. Is that you'll get that image of Biophile Kolga with the "Kill Your Thoughts" as a mini poster.
That's sick. That's very is it Giallo? Is what they call it? Like
very Italian horror Giallo.
Yeah.
Fulci type inspiration.
I see it, and I love the use of text as well.
And that idea of kill your thoughts, that is a motif that appears and will become increasingly important in all of the different eras of our book. So we're just trying to build something really cool here. Anybody that wants to support it, we're going to genuinely appreciate you, and we're going to genuinely try to make sure we give you as much as we can. We try to throw in goodies and stickers and things as we're able to. We really try to give you the best that we can give you. So we very much appreciate everybody that has already backed the book, and everybody who will continue to back the book. And dude, I really appreciate you inviting me on. I know, again, like very last minute, but you guys bringing me on.
And it was the stars aligned. I'm telling you, it was not a coincidence. Thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been one of the most interesting shows in terms of talking comics, like work ethics, lore, future planning, scope of a project, and just the sheer tangents we went on, man. It's been such a great conversation.
It's been a great conversation. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, reach out to us next time you want to promote a book or a campaign, and we'd be thrilled to have you back on, man.
When we're running this one through December and January, so maybe towards the end we might even try to get on again towards the tail end of the campaign and kind of update on where we are by that point too. But again, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome, yeah, that's a great image there.
Yeah,
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
My face is next to my screen, just examining the detail.
He's been pulled in.
I like that. You don't always get that much psychedelic stuff going on at once.
And there's mystery to it as well.
Mystery.
Later, Bat Sauce. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you, man. And Tenkage as well, man. Nice to see you. Thanks for sharing the link. Appreciate you. And thank you so much, Josh, for coming on. I know you got to go. We're gonna
gotta make call it a night, but thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys, and
great talking with you again.
Yeah, man. Let's do it again soon.
Oh, for sure,
definitely.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. You guys have an awesome rest of the night. And great week.
You too, man.
Sounds good, man. I'll catch you later.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
See you, man. And you guys know what time it is.
Gorgeous sons of bitches.
That's right.
Hey ho.
And we got you in the spotlight, James.
We do, don't we?
Why don't we start with you? Which restaurants are you going to be at? Oh, and there he is.
Yeah, a basic cam. Me and my trash can in the corner over here.
The trash can.
Hello, trash can. Make him a live character. Give him a voice later on.
Oh, he's going to be the next character in the James-verse.
The James verse, right? Of various
the sandwich's enemy,
avatars, right?
I also have your Evergreen trailer queued up, so let me know when you want me to play that as well.
Yes, I'll drop my hand and go like.
Sounds good.
For anybody who's interested in my works, first, what are my works? I am a short story writer. I publish on Substack, and I've recently started publishing on Royal Road. If you are into short stories that you can consume easily with weekly publications, I publish them weekly on Substack, which comes with a free PDF so you can download and read later on. And it's a nice formatted PDF. It has a cover. It's got all the various pages you can read on your Kindle or tablet. It's lovely and good to go. And you get that free every single week. All this is free. If you subscribe for $5 on my Substack, just $5, every other week you are actually going to get one of those short stories, the next installment of the short story, for free right then and there. So you're actually getting 2 extra short stories a month for your subscription, a total of 6 short stories for $5 if you subscribe to my Substack at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com. Now, if you're wondering what my short story is about, it is about a lawless forest where an ancient evil comes to be. And the various victims of this lawless forest are a bunch of orphan boys who, underneath appropriate training, become an army unto themselves and are the only force that can face this ancient evil. Go ahead and hit that trailer, buddy.
Through hollow night, our voices soar. We roam no more, our spirits roar. In dust and shield, our hearts burn free. We sing the spark of destiny. No throne, no crown, no gilded lore. Our oath resounds forevermore. Against the tide, we stand as one. Our crow will echo when dark is done.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful.
the Evergreen. Go check it out at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com or check out the weekly releases on Royal Road at World Without End on Royal Road. If you can't believe me, just look at the sandwich. Look into my eyes.
It would not lie to you. The sandwiches don't lie to you.
Sandwiches do not lie. Do not know how to lie. Subscribe.
It's as evergreen as the lettuce in his bread.
Hey ho.
Speaking of which, we have Wrangler from Frequency Studios. What are you working on, Wrangler?
I am currently working on books 2 and 3 of the Bad Kitty series. Got Haley Star Bad Kitty and the follow-up Bad Kitty Haley's World. Both available now on Amazon or anywhere books are sold. It's a little bit Goonies with elements of science fiction and fantasy. It's a good magic-fueled sci-fi adventure. They got to push their way through an underground labyrinth to try to save their town. You've heard of a lit RPG? This ain't that. But you could consider it a lit Metroidvania. And they got to go through and figure out what's going on, why what's happening is happening, and how to deal with it. And then they got to do it again, but bigger in the second book. So things do escalate. And also over on my Substack, you can follow me at Frequency Studios. There is a short story set in the same universe. And you could also check out my channel at Wrangler212. Do a channel search on YouTube. It'll pop right up. Every week, Monday nights at 8:05 Eastern, we do the weekly Wing It with many of the same folks you see here. We go on and we will talk about whatever. Oftentimes, no topic selected. We just get on and start yapping about whatever. Sometimes we turn it into an arcade episode where we just play games and chat. Come hang out with us. It's a good time, lighthearted. And you could also follow me on the social medias under Frequency Studios. Like on Twitter there, it's at Frequency Studios, but drop the first E because other people already had all the variations of Frequency Studios I wanted, so I just had to drop a letter. But you'll find me on there, and you'll know it's Frequency Studios when you see this picture that I have up on my camera right now for the banner of the page. So yeah, go check that out. Come hang out with us on Monday nights, and I guess it's over to you, Fred.
Hey, me and Elizabeth,
I completely forgot you had my trailer in there ready to go. Awesome.
I'm a pro now. Not a pronoun. We got everything here. And we're even going to play Lord Otter's trailer. Lord Otter had to leave us. He just did a quick stop to say hello, but we're going to honor his visit.
It was an utterly fantastic cameo.
Wasn't it? And here's his utterly fantastic second book you should have a look at. Yeah.
Sexy.
Sexy. Yeah, say again?
Sexy.
Right? I just started drawing that two-headed chick. I got to finish that one. That's an interesting character.
Yeah.
And last but not least is myself. No, not Batman, but Ratel, which is Ratel, as some say, which is closing out. Our 3-month campaign is closing out this Saturday. It's going to be Friday on Katie Did's channel in the morning. Good Morning Comicsgate. And Saturday, we're going to be closing out back on the Comicsgate Commandos with Patrick Quinlan. And I was going to say Damien Chaos, Colonel Carbon. Check that out. That's where we started it 3 months ago. We're going to close it, make it a perfect bookend. And so you've got to act now if you want to get your secure your copy of the first printing of Ratel. I almost said Rattle now. You got that in my brain, James. So if you want to secure your copy, make sure you get it before Saturday. We got 3 covers so far, but we might be dropping an extra something for the last couple of days. So be on the lookout for the campaign. So thank you to everyone in the chat who's there. Thank you, Jim Wong. You did ask a question. I want to get to you. Patrick says, yeah. Jun Wong asked a question earlier that I said I was going to get to, and I did not get to, but since you're there, let me get to it now. Quick question for Fred. He asks, can you explain Luttrell character design again? How does a drone have a face? Okay, so you're talking about Ratel. His drone does have a face, so he's basically kind of a DIY Batman. Instead of having a corporation, he has Bitcoin Fat Stack. And his drone does have a face. And his drone might get torn to pieces in the second issue. But I'm getting ahead of myself because right now we're promoting the first one. But thank you for that question, my friend. And if you're new here, do subscribe. We're at 222 subscribers right now. So we appreciate each and every single one of you. And I hope you tune in next week as well, because next week we're going to have Anonymal, the musician behind our trailer, right?
Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I especially appreciate Frederic Guimont. I'm just going to call him out tonight because, I don't know, I want to make everybody else jealous. And also, he's got a great name. Thanks for coming on, everybody.
Frederic Guimont. Okay, that is actually a really cool scene. I really like that. That's cool. Damn. That looks really cool, Frederic.
Frederic, what are you working on right now, man?
Spam!
Thank you so much to all my co-hosts for being here and for everyone in the chat for tuning in and everyone watching all the way to the end. We really appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. I will see you again next week. Do you guys have any parting words before we head out?
No, not really. If you're a creator, keep creating. If you're a wimp, you're not a creator.
And of course, before we go, we have to play one first Sabrina. We almost had a whole show without Sabrina. Let's go.
God bless everybody.
God bless you all, man. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week.
The sun has gone to bed, and so must I. So long, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, goodbye.
Hello, Bitcoiners. Thank you very much. Hello. It's good to be with you. It's good to be with you.